and crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag off at a Pittsburgh fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the bug with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
I got to be honest, I'm glad to see people this morning, Mike. What a week. What a week this has been, huh?
Right? It's been a hell of a week, brother.
I got to say this. Whoever put a fucking curse on me this week, take it off, please. Whatever I did, I apologize.
Exactly.
Fucking hey. Everything I touched, everything in my studio went to shit this week. I don't know what. It don't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense what the hell happened, but welcome back. I'm glad to see everybody. I'm glad to be back. Believe me, we were dealing with technical issues yesterday again, and we're happy to be here. I just want to say that. Good morning to everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 819 of the Two Dum Yinzers. I want to say good morning. Welcome back. Let me say good morning to everybody on the board. Good morning, Cody. What's up, Tortilla? What's going on, Kenneth? Big Zeus in the house. Richard, my man. Brian, RB, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back. I'm glad to see everybody. Hey. Mike, how you doing today, man?
I'm happy to be here, brother.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. My Lord, there's no place I'd rather be after this week. Jeez, oh man.
You know, we couldn't have all these tech issues during the off season. You know, the whole 6-7 months that that we're digging for stories to talk about every day.
Yeah.
Now there's a million things going on. We're playing the first game ever played in Ireland, and everything's got to go to shit here. And I got to be honest with you, it's everything. Anything in this studio. I don't know what's going on. So please, if you are the one that placed the curse on me, take it off, huh?
I blame Derpy.
Good morning, everybody. Let me get on the board. I do want to talk to some peeps, man. You know what? Because I'm so disconnected.
Yeah.
This week's just been so weird again. Tuesday and Thursday issues with the computer. So glad to be back. Good morning to Cody. What's up, Tortilla? Tortilla says there's going to be 20 turnovers during this game, Mike. Keep that in mind because we are doing the over and unders today to see how things are going to go in against Minnesota in Ireland again, guys. Week 4, our matchup against the Vikings. Both of us are 2-1 coming into this game. This is a 9:30 start Eastern Standard Time. Big Zeus says, "What's up?" He says, "Yo, what's up, brother?" Also, good morning to Richard. I'm sorry, Brian. Brian says the derpy smoke alarm, the derpy smoke detector beep needs to be added to the intro song, like the cowbell to Blue Oyster Cult. And
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more beep.
It's more derpy beeps. Cody says it's the alien. It is the aliens. It's something. RB says, is it me or is Ryan's camera clearer? And it's not a new camera. I just maybe because I plugged and unplugged and plugged and unplugged and plugged and unplugged everything once. Every time I mess with the computer, it's off, it's on. Plug this, unplug that. Take this out, take that out. I can't get this back in. Mike, get over here. I fuck things up.
The camera knew not to piss Ryan off today, so it's working extra better. It's working
the only
more
good
better.
thing about this, and I don't want to listen. We're not going to miss any shows next week. But the only good thing about this is it's not a game week that I wish that this would have happened next week to where we could have been a little bit more loose and So I feel bad. We will make it up. And Mike, we had guests this week. I had at least 2.5 people coming in to the show, and I'm pissed off because again, I do a lot of calling and talking and texting and writing and thinking and all this shit to get shit set up. And again, Sassy Cassie was supposed to come at the beginning of the week, the world's shortest stripper, guys at 2'10". Also, Mike, I was gonna have speech impediment man come in from the Howard Stern show, and he was gonna talk about the Vikings.
Yeah,
as you recall, he was in the springtime. He's a big Vikings fan. He was supposed to come in yesterday. The 2 days that shit fucked up is the 2 days we were supposed to have folks in here. So again, glad to be back, everybody. Corey Beavers, my man, what's up, brother? He says, "Hey, fellas, today is the day. Pod drops today. I just wanted to say thank you for your guidance in your process. In the process, no problem, brother. I hope wish you all the best. I cannot wait. To delve into the new podcast. Don't drink that. Starting today." Corey's saying, "Good luck, bro. You got this." Tortilla says, "You guys think Art Rooney will be more upset over a loss in Ireland than a playoff loss? Probably." Cody says, "Yeah, definitely clear. I don't know if that's a good thing for me." Kenneth says, "Sucks. I got to set my clock for the games." I know. You know what? I got to be honest with you. Not because I'm like partying or anything, but I'm usually going to bed, right around 9:00 on Sunday morning. A lot of things I do, for the show. I stay up on Saturday night and do it and stay up late. And it's gonna be a process change. But again, Mike, the team is off next week, so everything's gonna be screwy for another couple weeks here. RB says, has anyone heard reports of the field being upgraded? All those soccer field surfaces suck ass for football. Brazil and Mexico had to resaw it. I did not hear this. No,
I didn't hear anything. I saw pictures of the field. It looked good, but who knows what angle it was taken at. But I haven't heard anything either. Yeah, because the pitches over there, they're like you said, they're made for soccer. They're made for European football, not for American football, and they're not pretty.
RB says the places who didn't resaw it had footing issues, and the field would come apart and leave huge divots.
Yeah, that Brazil game last year looked horrendous.
Cody said, "Did you ever get one of those beer hats with the two beer?" I never had one of them. I used to, when I used to go to Spencer's when you're a kid and play with all the weird weenie things and booby things. I remember I'd walk around with one of them on my head with the beer, and you could put the two beers in the side. I never had one though. I never owned one. Mike, I think that would be good for you too. A nice, with
you were making fun of me earlier this year, and I think even earlier this week for all the liquor bottles that I had.
Well, and I'll make fun of you moving forward too, but I'm just saying you should get one of those beer hats and just kind of sit there and sip on it the whole show. You know how you usually take drinks the whole show?
Yeah.
Sit there and sip on it the whole show.
I'm trying not to drink during the show. I'm trying to set a good example for the kids.
Tortilla says at RB they will be playing on a hill. Cody says we missed the midget street. We didn't miss her entirely. We're getting her. Listen, guys, we're getting her back. She's coming on, and maybe next week again. I just want to make sure we get our eggs in a row here before I start
our eggs in a row
before we start inviting people back on. Because again, this week I expected a couple people and it didn't happen. unfortunately, because of the technical issues. But she's going to be back on. As a matter of fact, she's happy to come back on. I know she's coming back to the area in November, but I hope to get her on real soon. Again, I'm not waiting all the way till November. I had things prepared for her, and as early as next week maybe. So keep your eyes open, guys. Sassy Cassie, she's going to be a lot of fun. I do believe this. Also, Cody says that game is at 7:30 my time. And again, that's two time zones behind. Imagine if you're in California. Like I said, even P. I mean, he's in a whole different, whole different.
P's already seen the game. He knows what happened.
Big Zeus says game is at 7:30 my time. A loss would suck even more because of the bye. It'll give us more time to sulk in misery. I know. That's why I've always, personally, I hate bye weeks just because for me personally. But I guess I like it for the team. They could rest up, get healthy, things like this. But I've always hated a bye week. Always. And then when we were kids in the 90s, they had the 2 bye weeks. And was never a big fan. Tortilla says Art Rooney hired hackers to shut us down for the midget strip ripper.
I don't think he would spend the money.
Yeah.
I think he snuck into the studio.
RB says, I'm actually happy I work 3 to 11 on Sunday, so I can't see the entire game. All right. Big Zeus out in Chicago, man. What's up, bro? Always great to see any folks from Chicago on the board. Corey says, no, I'm a little nervous about it, but it's all good. I'm doing something most people don't take a chance to do, and we will see. I know it'll be a little slow getting off the ground. You know what my best advice would be? Corey, stick it out.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how good you think it's going. It doesn't matter how bad you think it's going. Stick it out. Because even if you think things aren't going your way, 6 months down the road, you might look back and be like, oh, dude, if I would have stopped then, I'd be so pissed at myself. So my biggest advice to you, just, again, almost, 850 shows in, stick it out, man.
Yeah.
That's the best advice I could give.
Yeah, because most people, like when we started out doing this, I was researching everything, and most people last, if they're lucky, 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's like it's literally like 5% of the people that do it make it longer than 20 episodes or something like that. So again, just keep plugging away, man. Keep plugging away.
You'll get better and better every episode you put out.
Tortilla says game starts 6 a.m. for me. See, that's crazy to me. And I understand they want to do this shit in Europe. But for fuck's sake, I mean, somebody that lives on the west coast of California, I mean, you'd imagine they would be interested in watching the game. Obviously, Minnesota's, over there in the central time zone. But you would think that would be put into consideration. These guys watching the game at 6 o'clock in the morning is insane. That's insane. You're not even, Corey says right now where we go? Corey says right now I'm worried about Pittsburgh. So let's talk Ireland. We got a lot of things to go over today, guys. What's up, Phil? Still always great seeing Phil on the board. Somber, what's up? He says 6:30 a.m. my time. I can't really see real great from where I'm at, but it looked like in this picture he might have a really cool beard, is what I'm seeing for Mr. Somber on the terrible board. I do want to say welcome to the show. Welcome to the terrible board. Wes Hatchett, what's up, fellas? Or what's up, dude? Is what he said. He said, what's up, fellas? Great seeing you, man. Hope you guys are ready for the big game on Sunday. RB says, all this talk of P from Japan makes me sad. As a teenager, some Asian guy at a Pens game painted all black and a sign that said P man. Got in my face in the stands before, and I sent him 3 rows down. Nice. Maybe it wasn't P. But also, RB says this. That makes me feel bad for being such a short-fused dickweed in my early years. Tortilla says Art would pay a midget stripper $41 million. We had a midget last year. And you know what? He got benched already in New York. This is there's a lot of things, again, we're going to get into today. Corey says, damn, I've already got 10 episodes scheduled for release. People give up that, but they really do.
Mm-hmm.
It's truly fascinating what goes on with, you know what I think it is? A lot of times I think people, they want to become big overnight. And, that's just, it's not reality most of the time. Unless you have like big connections and mad money and Joe Rogan profile. But for the rest of us, you know what I mean? You got to work it, man. It's got to listen. And here's another thing I got to say. And again, I don't want this to be podcast 101 class day because we got a lot to get into. But do your thing, man. Don't give up. Just keep going. And again, Don't apologize for anything. Do what you do. People that are interested in what you're saying is going to watch, and if they're not, then you know what, you got other people to market towards. So again, I can't wait, Cody or Corey. I'm going to get into it big time. I know I am. Again, it's a conspiracy podcast. And I also do want to say, I don't know if Jamal's in the house yet. I did go check out his podcast the other day. I'm a little bit confused, so I do want to ask him some questions when he does get here. So, Mike, do let me know if you see Jamal pop in on the board. Cody says this. Corey, I'll make sure to jump on like in troll. RB says, to clarify, I'm 3/4 of the way Russian, so I was a Wings fan because they had all the Russians. Now I don't care about hockey because it's become such a puss sport. Scott Atkins, what's up, man? Great seeing you back on the terrible board. Good morning to you, sir. He says the Steelers are going to suck us all back in. The defense will force 3 turnovers, and Aaron will throw 4 touchdowns. And I hope you're right. And you know what? That would be a nice feeling to go into the bye week. Again, like I said on the board earlier, you hate going into the bye week off of that loss. It's just, you know, because the very next day you can't wait to get back at it because you don't want to hear how bad your team sucks for the 2 following weeks. So that's always a terrible feeling getting a loss before the bye. So hopefully they can figure out how to stop Jordan Addison and this crew that they got. Mike, obviously Minnesota winning 15 games last season, only losing, of course, the quarterback who's doing pretty well in Seattle, doing things over there. But Mike, I got to be honest with you. The Vikings, they have an 83.3 winning percentage, which is the highest team winning percentage ever with ginger quarterbacks. This is 100% true. Redheaded quarterbacks, like the Vikings, 83.3% winning percentage with redheaded quarterbacks. I don't like this number going into the weekend.
No, I don't. Especially in Ireland.
In Ireland, come on. You see, if Sam Darnold, we would have picked him up, Mike, instead of let him go over to Seattle where he's doing good. We could have had a ginger too.
Yeah, it could have been a ginger fest. No.
But no.
We had to go get the ayahuasca king, the high priest.
You know what? If he ends out working out over there, I'm going to be fucking pissed because I liked him. You know I like Sam Darnold. Let's get back on the board. RB says Bengals have been in talks for Russell Wilson. Well, here's something else interesting. That Jake Browning, he's already leads the league in interceptions. He's played 6 quarters. He's thrown 5 interceptions. The Bengals quarterback, Jake Browning, has thrown 5 interceptions, and he's only played 6 quarters of football. He leads the league in interceptions thrown, and I like that.
You have 2 of the better receivers in the league. How the hell are you doing that? Well, they do have a shit offensive line, but my God.
A terrible offensive line. Somber says, we can't lose to a team with no cheerleaders. Got to lock in Steelers. Come on, man. Come on, Steelers. Get this win. Cody says, thanks. Corey says, thanks, Cody. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you as well, Mike and Ryan. You guys have been great help. Hey, no problem, dude. As we said, if you have any questions, don't hesitate. Tortilla says, Ireland will go crazy if A-Rod pulls out the discount double check. He's still bitching about that helmet. I just read that.
Oh, he is too. It looks stupid. Your
stupid head,
stupid bro.
You remember all them years in that stupid head? You know, his helmet was just kind of sitting on his head in Green Bay. It's his head.
That's like me putting on a hat. My hat looks stupid.
Right?
No, it's this, Aaron. It's this.
RB says, Corey, work on thumbnails. You need to catch the eye to catch viewers. Spam the shit out of your links on other posts and videos on that topic. Wes says this. He says, I have no idea what to expect out of our Steelers this weekend. And you know what? I got to be honest. I feel the same way. I don't know what to expect from our guys. I'm reading things that things are getting better. I'm reading everything in Pittsburgh. Things are getting better. Everything the media is saying outside of Pittsburgh is things are looking doom and gloom. So whatever that means, guys. Tortilla says Vikings are also like 5-0 in overseas games. I think the Steelers are 0-1. RB says, I wish my work wasn't so busy because we're down 3 guys to medical shit, or I'd help with some graphics for you, but I'm strapped for now. Scott says, Aaron began figuring out that defense late in the game with the Jets. Herbig, Watt, and Ramsey will give Aaron clean-up field position. And then Corey says, Aaron Rodgers looks like Aaron Smith with the Aaron Smith. You remember the miniature helmets he would get in the machine? You put the quarter in. Yes. He literally wore that size helmet on his big ass giant head.
And it's like he had a painted on helmet.
I know. And his face pressed right against the face mask.
His jersey too looked like it was painted on. He was a weird dude.
Aaron Jade, what's up, bro? Always great seeing Aaron on the
What
board.
up?
Here we go, Steelers, guys. It is game weekend. It's Steeler Friday. Here we are. A lot of things going on this weekend, guys. Again, we apologize greatly about the time missed yesterday. We're gonna make it up to you. I swear to you. And then again, we're getting these guests in as soon as possible. I want to make sure we have our shit set before we do get start making scheduling these people to come on again, because Mike, again, we had no problems all the way up until literally the day Cassie was supposed to come in. So I'm not doing great. Again, I wish somebody would take the curse off me. Whoever has it on me. I don't know if it's anybody on the board. I don't know if it's anybody at home, but I got my eye on you.
Does not sound good.
Also, what do we got? Let's get into it, guys. 2-1. The Vikings are 2-1. The Steelers are 2-1, guys. The game is 9:30 on Sunday morning. It's going to be strange getting up for a 9:30 game. And I don't got to tell you guys, again, guys on the board are going to be getting up at 6 o'clock on the West Coast, 7 o'clock in the Central Time Zone, an hour earlier in the middle. Mike, what are the time zones anyway? West of the Mountain, West Coast, Eastern, Central.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Central. I think Mountain, Western.
All right. So, yeah, there you go.
Asking me like I'm sort of expert.
Scott says if there was ever a show up moments for a player, it's Broderick's time to do or die. All right, guys, let's get into some stuff here, guys. Before we get started on this game, there was several Steelers named nominees for the possible Hall of Fame selection this year, Mike. And I got to be honest with you, I feel good about our chances about maybe getting somebody in this year. These are the Hall of Fame nominees as of right now, guys. Gary Anderson, the great kicker. Matter of fact, led the, I think he still leads. Does he still lead all-time scoring, Mike, at this moment, or did he get passed by one of our kickers?
Let me take a look. I'll Google that real quick.
All right, Gary Anderson, he is up for nominee. Also, David DeCastro. James Ferrier. You know what? I really like James Ferrier, and here's why, Mike. He's the all-time leading tackler for the Steelers. If you're looking for a guy for the Steelers to go into the Hall of Fame, when it's a team that the Hall of Fame certainly recognizes for their defense, James Ferrier would be the guy, because, again, of all those defensive players you have, all the greats, Mean Joe Green, Jack Lambert, you know the guys, James Ferrier, he leads all-time in tackles.
If it wasn't for Ray Lewis, James Ferrier probably should have been talked about a whole hell of a lot more.
Absolutely.
In that era. He was a tackling machine, sideline to sideline. And Gary Anderson is third all time. Adam Vinatieri,
in Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh.
I don't care about the rest of the
league. He's still the
lead
for Pittsburgh, because I'm looking at the all time list right now for the NFL, and I don't see anyone else up there for the Steelers.
James Harrison also on the list again. Mike Hines Ward also on the list again. Carnell Lake is on the list, and finally Marquise Pouncey. So of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Steelers, I also have to throw in there Larry Fitzgerald is also up for nomination for the Hall of Fame this year, guys. So good luck to all of them. Mike, I think with the 7 and then the Larry Fitzgerald, I think somebody from Pittsburgh should be going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Again, that's a lot of different people. I also think Shady McCoy is up, and then also Reuben Brown. So there's 3 guys for Pitt. I think that are up for running for Hall of Fame, Mike. So again, gives Pitt the chance to catch up, because we have 10 guys in the Hall of Fame out of Pitt, and we are just a couple behind Notre Dame and USC. So we're trying to catch up with them, and we also know we have Aaron Donald coming up soon as well. So
it's 2 locks right there, Larry Fitz, Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Fitz, you can make an argument for as well, but there's a lot of guys coming up in this class throughout the NFL that you can make a legit argument that should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. This class is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you can only put so many guys in, so we will see. RB says Ryan got the curse of the Iron City when he turned his back on it for the new beer. And I do want to say, Sunday morning when you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, be sure to crack open a Duquesne Pilsner. That's right, Duquesne Pilsner. They certainly keep us mentioned in their posts for their tailgates, for everything that they do over at their website and on their Facebook posts. So do make sure, if you're getting ready for the game this weekend, grab a Duke. There you go. Grab a Duke, everybody. Good stuff. We'll be drinking it here. I can tell you that. Also, Tortilla says Ryan must have wiped his ass with the terrible tie. You know what? It was probably that story when we had Finch tell the other day about his dad wiping his mouth with a terrible towel. It seems like we've had issues ever since then. I don't know.
It's Derby and Finch's fault.
It is. It's Finch's fault for sure.
Excuse me.
Somber says, I heard Warren had a light practice due to a knee. Hopefully he's good to go. Yeah, I think he's good to go. Matter of fact, the only person I don't think is good to go, Mike, for certain, is Alex Highsmith. He did not even make the trek, the schlep, if you will, over the pond, and so he will not be there. However, Mike, we still have hope that JPJ and
Sean Elliott
will be playing maybe this weekend. So again, I don't want to rush Deshaun back because we got Jabril Peppers.
Yeah.
But if he's ready to go, let's do it. Let's give more, more manpower back there. JPJ, once we get the three-headed monster back in there, Mike, then I think we can start trying to impose our will a little bit more on defense and do the things, because we'll be more people in positions to make plays, opposed to now you're kind of have to do what you got to do. Now, once you get JPJ back in there and get Elliott back in there, you get a full your secondary back healthy, you're going to be able to do different things and have different looks and have different players take different responsibilities. So I think that's going to be big when those two guys get back. Hopefully it's this Sunday, Mike, because Jordan Addison again is returning and he is itching to get back in the end zone. I'm reading about this, and so the more back in the secondary, the better.
Yeah, cause we're going to need it, because Addison, Jetta, TJ Hawkson, and their running back who is they have a really good offense. They have a really good, and McCarthy going down may be a blessing in disguise for this team.
He might be. Aaron says automatic Anderson. That's right, man. I grew up on some automatic Anderson. That was Scott says Roman Wilson is in the witness program. He is working undercover for the FBI, investigating on whether or not the Steelers have an offense. It couldn't be any more frustrating with him, because again, like in the preseason, that's all you hear. Roman. We're going to get a look at Roman. Roman does this well. Roman runs nice patterns. Roman does this. And he had 4 big catches. I think he had 97 yards, 4 catches in the preseason. And again, 1 catch for 7 yards in the first 3 games. We'll see if that changes when we're playing out of the country. It's certainly not working for him in the country. No. So hopefully he could take advantage of that.
It seems like every time he's in there, he's just asked to block.
Yeah. And you want to put the 120-pound guy in blocking people. That's kind of insane to me. Corey says this. He says it looks like JPJ and Elliott are going to play, but they won't say either way. I wonder if it's that so Minnesota doesn't game plan for those guys. Tortilla says, I think if we get healthy Highsmith somewhat soon, the run defense will improve. Funny Boy Rhodey, welcome to the board. Great to see you. Funny Boy Rhodey says, I'd rather us play against J.J. McCarthy than Carson. Well, you know what? I am too. As Mike said, I mean, this is basically McCarthy's rookie year. He was out all last year, and I mean, he looked well because he got a good team around him. But again, I would rather play him. Carson does have the experience, and he's so hit or miss. Sometimes he looks great. Sometimes he looks like the worst quarterback in the league. You just know he's not going to look like the worst quarterback in the league against us. Why that never happens, I don't know. But we have to get to him. We have to win the battle on the line of scrimmage. We got to put pressure on him. And again, getting the guys back in the secondary, I think, go a long way. So it's going to be guys, again, here in Pittsburgh, there's a lot of confidence. People think that we're going to win this football game, but everything I see outside of town, it's we're going to get washed. We're going to get beat. The Minnesota's, we don't stand a chance. Aaron Rodgers' mistakes are going to be what it is. As I said, I've read a million reasons why we're not going to win this football game. I just don't believe it. I think this team could win a lot of football games, Mike, but it's going to be in these weird, non-methodical kind of games that the Steelers find their ways in winning. Yeah. And they have been for the last 5 years. Again, I don't know how different we are than we were 5 years ago. You would think talent-wise we should be a lot better. Yeah. But again, this has just been what the Steelers have been doing. I think they could beat Minnesota. It's the teams like Buffalo. It's the teams. These teams like this is the teams that I'm worried about. Minnesota, I think we could beat. I think that they might be comparable somewhat to what the Seattle game was to us, Mike, where I think a mistake one way or the other could cost us. But I certainly think that Minnesota is a beatable team.
I think they are. They won 50-1 last year, but we saw what happened when you were able to apply pressure. Of course, that was Sam Darnold, but the whole team kind of collapsed too. They are a beatable team. They got some guys banged up. Their outside linebacker, Van Ginkel, who had 12 sacks last year, he's out for the game. So Dallas Turner will be starting in his place. Javon Hargraves is questionable. They're a beatable team, but the schemes and systems they run on offense or defense like they're just for blowing people away. A lot of smoke and mirrors on defense, but if you're able to establish a run game and then force them to change up their coverages and play more against the run than the pass, and you might be able to exploit them in the air that way. So it's going to be a chess match. On paper, Flores and Kevin O'Connell are seem to be head and shoulders above what we have going against them. But it's going to come down to man against man out there, and Broderick Jones step up, O-line step up, so we can just methodically grind out the clock and be advantageous, because ball control is going to be key. I want to keep that offense off the field for Minnesota. I don't want Justin Jefferson to light our secondary up. I don't want their tight end, who's a pretty good tight end, to work and exploit that middle of the field.
What kind of tight end is he?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good, this guy.
He's not the elite tight ends, but he's really fucking close to those guys.
Mike, before we get into the X and O's of things, the Pittsburgh Steelers are staying at the Carlton House. It's basically this gigantic castle in Ireland. Mike, this place has two full-size football fields, 2 full-size golf courses. So these guys, they're definitely having a good time over in Ireland as they arrived. They hit the practice field this morning at 9 o'clock this morning, guys. So they're there, they're ready. They also made the trek over on a Greyhound bus, while the Minnesota Vikings went with this really high-class type of flight. I don't recall what it was, but again, Steelers are in town. Vikings should be there as well soon if they're not there already. Game 4, of the season, just less than 48 hours away, Mike. I would say 48 hours and then a half hour to get to the 1 o'clock. It's a 9:30 game. 9:30, guys. We got to get up early. And again, I'm not bitching, because I know a lot of people on the terrible board have to get up way earlier than I do, and I do feel for them. Good luck, guys. I wish that I could help. I really do. 6:30 in the morning. Fuck.
F that.
Oh, man. Let's see what we got. RB says, I really wanted Jordan Mason this offseason. 007. What's up, dude? Always great seeing 007 back on the terrible board. He says, what's going to happen with Caleb Johnson? Or I bet his spirit's been broken. I really do. And Mike made a good point. People were saying the Steelers could be 0-3. But you know what? The Steelers could be 3-0. Say what you want. That Caleb Johnson play wasn't the deciding point, in my opinion. It was the turning point.
Yeah.
It wasn't the deciding point, but the turning point for sure. And it and they ultimately scored 2 touchdowns ahead of us. So his touchdown was not what beat us. But, I just think the guys, we were a play or two away from being 3-0. And again, if you play a few things different, but again, we could have also lost the Jets game in the last game we played as well. Yeah. So I'm happy where I'm at. We're 2-1 after everything that we just went through. Again, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Aaron Rodgers, and DK Metcalf, they just got their 3 preseason schedule games played. So maybe now we're all in regular season mode and we can move forward, win some football games. But I do feel bad for Mr. Caleb Johnson. And I don't know. I don't know what to think about him. I'm going to be honest with you. There was there was some doubt with me early. I didn't think that he looked great returning kicks. I mean, he was solid, but he didn't look anything great. And then again with this, so I don't know what's going to happen. I hope for the sake of his confidence, maybe they let the guy play some more. But I don't know at this point, guys. It's hard to say. Tortilla's saying they're going to have Caleb Johnson cleaning the toilets, Mike.
Oh, damn, Tortilla. Damn.
Corey says he's going to have a 3 interception game this week, but somehow our defense could cough up the game. And then he does. Yeah, you do need to go check Geometria. I've been going to my Geometria calculator a lot lately. I'm going to be honest with you. Matter of fact, Mike, I'm going to go to and find out who cursed my computer. That's what I'm going to do.
All I know is the Geometria last week that Corey tried to use to predict the outcome of the game was wrong, and we ended up winning.
It's true. Also, Tortilla says they got Caleb selling and working at the concession stands.
Got to earn that money somehow, buddy.
300 little redheaded guys and Caleb Johnson over there selling food in the concession stand. RV says double probably wouldn't be the first rookie. Mike ruined by poor handling. CRD Burns fine and bench for being 3 minutes late to practice and was told your initials might be AB, but you ain't AB. Somber says I'm okay with the loss. I just want to see some fight. I'm going into the bye obviously hoping for a win. That's a good point. I want to go on a good note. You're right. I don't want to listen. If we lose 40-14, we'll be devastated. And again, we have 2 weeks to wait to get back at it. Yes, we do start playing some Ohio teams. That is a good sign when we come back. Mike, again, the Jake Browning, the quarterback for the Bengals, plays 6 quarters. Yeah. He throws more interceptions than anybody else in the entire league, leads the league with 5 after just 6 quarters of play. Mike, he's almost averaging a interception a quarter.
I'm no NFL expert, but
just an insider, not the expert.
Just an insider, but I'm not an expert. But from what I'm hearing from the experts, that's not good.
I
two of the best receivers in the league. Yeah. Not going to lead the league in interceptions.
Somber says, okay, he said, I'm okay with the loss. RB says, then made him guard AB in every practice one-on-one, every snap the rest of the season after a fine and benching, killed his entire confidence in himself.
Hey, it's the NFL. You got to go up against the best.
Scott says, I know the Steelers offense has not run the ball well, but that is how you beat the Vikings defense. They are small on the defensive line, linebackers, and defensive backs. My only concern about them, guys, was the way they were able to dominate last year. And again, really all they lost was Sam Darnold. So if Carson Wentz could go in there and not make mistakes and hit a couple big plays, I'm kind of concerned about the Vikings. Again, that's a pretty good team over there, guys. And I agree with you. I think they are undersized on defense, but again, this team somehow found a way to find 15 wins last year. And again, we can't look past these guys, especially going into the bye. Let's get this win. We got to get this win, man. Somber says they can't stop screen passes. I expect to see a lot of those trying to get Warren in open space. I hope so, because Warren catches the ball. He's as good as anybody in the league.
Yep.
RB says Hawkinson is a power slot, not a real tight end. Dude is like 240 pounds. Porter needs to shadow him. Tortilla says everyone's worried about the Steelers' travel plans. We could just hop on Darnell's back and piggyback there, right? Kenneth says, I've tried and tried, but just can't grasp the Roman Wilson saga. It seems to be there's always something weird with our rookies anymore. Either they're out all year or they don't play for a crazy amount of time. And the one that he does play right off the cut ends out screwing up, causing the biggest mistake in team history. Somber says they need to just give Caleb some carries in the backfield, not returns, because he's a running back. I would agree. Phil, what does he say, Mike? Go Mac. Something. Boom. I'm not sure what the next word is. Scott says throwing on first down on occasion will keep this defense from stacking the box. Can we feed DK on some slants and then burn him deep on a double move?
I would like that to happen. I know what Steele's saying on the
good.
The jerseys for the Steeler players. They had the Gaelic names in the back.
Yeah,
and Watts was Mac Uet.
Okay.
Yeah. Everyone had like something different except for Troy Fatanu. He said Mac Fatanu.
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers giving him shit for it.
Yeah, they have guys on their practice uniforms this morning. They all have Gaelic names or something on the back. Kind of interesting, I guess. Christophus, what's up, man?
What up?
Always great seeing Christophus on the board. Hope you're ready for the big game on Sunday, sir. He says, hello, wake up, Steeler Nation. This is a must-win, a win for the Chief, Dan Rooney. You know what? And that's true. If there's not a more symbolic game for the Pittsburgh Steelers to win, it would be this one. This would be the game that you really want the Steelers to come home with the win. You don't want to go to Ireland. Listen, this place is out of their mind. Listen, they have the terrible bus. They have the terrible tour bus. They have Steeler Pro Shops set up everywhere in Ireland. Like, they're crazy about the Steelers over there, Mike. So, again, it would be awesome if we could go to Ireland and get this win on Sunday. Steeler fans are in multitudes showing up at all these different things in Ireland. So any game the Steelers could win, this would definitely be a good one for us. Welcome back, Christophus. Corey says my GM watcher was only half wrong, Mike. I got the score wrong, but I predicted Vrabel would get his 49th loss to the Steelers using it.
All right. Hopefully it's half wrong this week and we get the win.
Field of Steel says the must-win games are after the bye, and no, these coaches aren't ready for real. Kenny agrees with Somber. Somber says in Thornhill. Just said Thornhills. And then finally, RB says the practice jersey thing was an NFL mandated gimmick to sell more jerseys. There we go. All right, guys. Mike, let's get into some stuff. Could we? Aaron Rodgers says his targets need to start getting open. He didn't say it in a derogatory way, but he did say it in a comment, Mike. Again, Jaylen Warren is our number one receiver.
Yeah.
Our number two receiver is technically Jonnu Smith, but between yards and catches, it toggles between him and DK Metcalf. Mike, we haven't Calvin Austin, he catches a touchdown every couple games. The other guys, non-existent: Roman Wilson, Scotty Miller, Ben Skoranek. Is this going to continue to be what it is for the Steelers, or is there going to be a change? Because in the preseason and even in the first game, our quarterbacks, they really spread the ball out, Mike. All the receivers were eaten. All the running backs were eaten. Tight ends were eaten. Mike, there's about 4 targets on this team right now. Again, the leading receiver being our running back. Again, does this change moving forward, or is this going to more or less be what the Steelers are this year?
It's going to, I hate to say it, sound like a broken record, but it all starts up front. What have we said all off season? It's the offensive line. And, you got to give these guys time to go run their routes and to get open.
Mike, let me ask you this. Is Fatanu, now that, we're 4 games in, we're going to be quarter way through the season, basically. Let's just say Broderick Jones goes over and shits the bed. Is it a possibility to drag Fatanu across and let him play left tackle at any point during this season? Is that a realistic thing to ask?
I don't think so. I think they're going to keep him there, and you probably see someone like Calvin Anderson go there, or Andrews Pete go up the left tackle. I think that would be the move, and just keep the continuity of the line, just only replacing one instead of maybe flipping a guy and replacing a guy. That's more or less like replacing 2 guys right there. I would see.
Nobody could play right tackle. Nobody's a good backup right tackle. I want the best possible lineman playing my left tackle position at this point, especially knowing what we have. Yeah. My brain is moving if I'm coach trying to figure out how the hell to fix this, because again, you can't have. Listen, if Broderick Jones doesn't step up and doesn't really start developing, Mike, you can't have this guy watching your quarterback 6. He's not going to make it through this whole season if Broderick Jones continues at left tackle, unless he really steps up again. And I guess he's doing it in small doses, right?
He is doing it in small doses, because I did find like a chart, and it broke down quarterback pressures rate allowed by alignment of defensive players. And he's giving up, he being Broderick Jones, pressures on 10.3% from edge rushers from that side. And honestly, looking throughout this chart, he's just about average. He's right in line with some other left tackles, and there's teams that have a whole hell of a lot worse, and then you have like the upper tier guys. So he's like in that second tier of left tackles of giving up pressures right now. So it's, on metrics, he doesn't look that bad, but you turn on the game film and you're watching him wander around on block plays. You're watching him stand straight up on pass plays. You're watching him not punch people, but you watch all the other 4 guys on the line do what they're supposed to do. Then there's Broderick Jones doing his own thing half the time. It needs to be sorted and figured out, because that's the weak link. Right now, him and Seumalo, that left side's the weak link on the line. And there's a reason Aaron Rodgers probably leads the league in time to throw, is because he has no time to throw. We have to get it out quick, and then that goes into the receivers not being able to get open. So it all plays hand in hand, and it all starts up front. Now, if he had all time to throw and guys weren't getting open, I would be majorly concerned. And with DK Metcalf, his separation grades have never been that great. His is just, get it to him and he can get it.
But he's your number one receiver. He's got to be able to he's got to be able to do more than one thing for being your number one receiver. So, I'm not going to a couple other numbers, guys, some things that are interesting. Aaron Rodgers, he did throw 3 interceptions last year against Minnesota, of course, while playing for the Jets. He threw 3 interceptions in last year's game against the Vikings, guys. Something to keep in mind. A couple other numbers that I do have here, Mike. This Pittsburgh Steelers team, of course, we've been waiting for this Arthur Smith offense. This team, so far this season, Mike, they have ran the 3 tight end set more than anybody in the league. But get this, they've ran the 3 wide receiver set less than anybody in the entire league. So again, Mike, this team, kind of a bizarre, weirdo team. We threw it together kind of with that in mind, knowing that we're going to have to try some different things out this year. What really seems to be sticking for you? What seems to be what they're going to be sticking with moving forward? And what seems to you is going to be the game plan? Again, just trying to pick momentum up moving forward. Certainly after this bye, whether we win, whether we lose this Sunday morning, we're going to have to hit the ground running, I believe, once we hit these Ohio games in a couple weeks. Mike, what do you think this game plan ultimately is for the Pittsburgh Steelers moving forward?
I don't know. I don't know, because
that's why we pay you the big bucks.
I know, but like I've been thinking that too all week, and then you asked me here, and like I have been racking my brain because outside of a handful of drives here and there, the offense looks stale. The offense looks like it can't get anything done, but then they have drives where the O-line is opening up multiple holes for Jaylen Warren to jump cut through and pick a lane and go. There's plays where the offense, the receivers have time to run the routes, the line's given in protection. I don't know what they're going to do, but my base set would be 1 running back, at least 2 tight ends, and go from there. And like the 3 tight end set of us being able to bully these lines and linebackers is not working.
It's not working.
It's not at all. And that's what, we were hoping they would be able to do, especially with Mount Washington out there bullying people along. And it's just hasn't been there. So that's why I'm befuddled by what's going to work and what's not going to work with this offense.
And here's the thing: it's like we're chasing our tail, because on one hand, you're saying we need to run more complicated things. This comment was said by Big Ben Roethlisberger this past week on his podcast. He says our defense is too vanilla, but trending in the right direction. He's saying, Mike, everything we do for the past 5 years has been very vanilla. Is it the fact that we're constantly changing players? Is it the fact that because, again, we played New England last week. They came out and said, guys, we know pretty much where the Steelers are going to be all the time. Mike Vrabel, very, very familiar with the Steelers. And also, teams, this isn't the first time I've heard this. I've heard people from the Patriots past make a point of this. Wes Welker, I think, or Amendola, one of them guys, Edelman, says the Steelers, you always knew what their defense was going to do. And if they can't bully you, if they can't get, through to the quarterback, then you have them beat. So just, let's focus on keeping these guys out of the backfield. Mike, what's going on? Why is this continuing with the Steelers? Why can't we develop game plans where other teams say, wow, what was that?
Yeah.
It's all as vanilla as can be, and it doesn't seem to be changing. And again, we're not playing better because of it. So at what point do we stop chasing our tail, Mike?
Because I know last week against New England, going back watching film and then watching people break down film, they were trying to disguise their zone coverage, making it look like man and man to look like zone. And then because the one touchdown to the tight end where Peyton Wilson flat out even said to the media, I got confused. I thought we were going man to zone or zone to man, and I was supposed to go with the tight end. Yeah, they were supposed to show zone, but it was supposed to be man, and he just went to the area and let the tight end run right by him. So players that are out there, knowing your assignment, knowing what you're going to do, and they have what they've said too, that they call multiple plays on defense, and then out there, they communicate to each other, okay, this is the play we're going to go with. I'll get on the same page. So they're doing things out there, but it's just not translating out onto the field. They're trying new things. It's not working out. And on offense, I know they want to do those slants. They want to do those screens and draw people close to, and then maybe hit over the top, but the running game ain't working. Deep or the intermediate passes aren't working. So it's like they're throwing whatever at the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah,
is what it feels like. And
at what point
you can't build a good drive.
What point do you feel comfortable, Mike, without this team having an identity?
I'm not going to feel comfortable. I want them to have, whether it be a pass first team to set up the run type team. I'm comfortable with that. Whatever gets the offense moving, they need to figure it out, because you can't build stack plays to build plays for later on in the game. Once you start stalling on offense, we saw that against New England. Once we started stalling after the second drive, plays weren't working because we couldn't set up this play with this play with this play down the line. Whereas those first two drives, they were able to keep things moving, make this play work here against the Jets. I think it was like they set something up for the Calvin Austin touchdown by moving him in the motion. They set that up in the beginning of the game because plays were hitting and working. They were able to call that touchdown play off of it. They weren't able to do that at all last week. And when you can't even do anything on offense, it totally fucks up your play calling because you cannot, I don't want to say build the script because you do that in your first drive, that's your script. But you know what I mean? Set up plays to keep the defense off guard, and then you can start mixing and matching. Now it seems like they're just trying to do a base thing to find anything that works to have a building block of once these drives stall.
I do want to say that the NFL.com has picked Pittsburgh 6-4, Mike. NFL.com has picked Pittsburgh 6-4 again. Depending on where you look, a lot of local predictions have us winning. A lot of national predictions have Minnesota winning. I'm going to jump back on the board, Mike, though. We don't want to leave anybody behind. Don't want to leave anybody out. This is Steeler Friday, heading into the game 4 of the season for the Steelers, Mike. This one is in Ireland at Croke Stadium. The Steelers will be playing Minnesota on Sunday morning at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Let's get back into some of these messages. And I'm going to go right here to P. What's up, P? Always great seeing P on the board. We were just talking about you in Japan, having to watch the game in the future or the past or whatever the hell it's going to be at that time in the morning on Sunday. He says, real Aaron. Always great seeing you back on the board, P. Hope everything's going well for you. And hop on, brother. Scott does say, I had a dream that the Steelers offensive line would not keep looking like screen doors in a hurricane. We need to work out.
I hope it comes true.
I love that. I love having Steelers. You know what? So the Steeler dreams that I have, they're kind of anxiety driven. Every time that I have a Steeler dream, I see the score and they're like just winning, and then the other team scores. I don't know. My Steeler dreams are always kind of crazy. Somber says, I've been saying it for weeks. One of the tackles will be a guard next year, and they'll replenish in the draft. It's possible.
The only one I would trust moving to guard would be Fatano. I think he seems the one who would be able to be that guy that can change positions and change sides of the line. Broderick Jones, I've lost all faith in him.
He looks like a big guy. He could carry equipment or something, I'm sure. Somber does also say this. We might lose both guards this offseason. Isaac looks cooked, and McCormick is just bad. Corey Beaver says, we need a fucking wide receiver too. But what do I know? I'm just a football fan. It's only been a couple of seasons. I don't know why we need one of them. Maybe next year we'll go without a nose guard. And we
can barely get the ball to wide receiver 1.
Yeah. Well, the wide receiver 1 doesn't exactly have the best separation. You said it yourself. Scott Atkins says, here's a positive. Steelers scored 18 points total on opening drive. Steelers have scored 17 points thus far this year. And you know what else? The Steelers right now have the number 2 highest red zone touchdown rate in the NFL, guys. The second highest touchdown rate in the red zone. So, there again, Mike, some things are going to be really good. Some things are going to be really weird. Some things are going to be really bad. These are one of those kind of years I just you can't explain, but we've been having them more often than none lately. And again, I'd like to get back to getting consistent and winning football games and stacking wins and doing the things that we're used to having as Steeler fans. We can only hope that we could get back there soon. Tortilla, quoting the great Mike Tomlin, says, we don't judge fish on how they squash grapes. That's right. That's right, Coach. We don't. 007, Vikings did lose to the Falcons. 1-2 team in game 2. If the Steelers minimize their mistakes, we will be 3-1. You know what? Those kind of thoughts enter my mind all the time, 00. But the thing is, again, we luckily beat the Jets. We won by 2 points. We luckily beat the Patriots. So again, I just don't know where we are. I think I have an idea, but every time I think something, it does the total opposite. Again, we could be 0-3, we could be 3-0. So every game is going to be a crapshoot this year. Once again, I think. Somber says, of course, the defense is vanilla. 3 players are out. I heard Thornhill talking about it. He said the safeties and corners are having issues with nonverbal communications due to guys being out. And that's what I'm reading as well. But in my defense, in the comment, this has been the case for about 5 years. The schemes really haven't. And again, is that the fact that we're just constantly moving players in and out and trying to get guys? Again, this is part of the whole kerfuffle that is the Steelers. Corey says this. I think we go in with a solid game plan, but what I think happens is we get punched in the mouth, and Tomlin doesn't know how to adjust his game plan to overcome adversity in the game and live in our fears. Tortilla says Mike Tomlin tried to say the defense is vanilla thunder, but his wife didn't write down thunder. Hey. I do want to say good afternoon, Eastern Standard Time, at least here to Janet Carson. 1 on the board. Always great seeing new faces. Welcome to the terrible board, Janet. Hope you enjoy yourself. Great seeing you. Tortilla says this. Rodgers is good in the end zone. He's one of the best so far. As long as we could get there.
Yeah.
Let's find ways to get there. Christophus does say this. Christophus says, how can you not get up for this game? This may be the game where they wise up and use YA Black at no stock. I hope so, man. I mean, that's the future, obviously. YA Black's going to be spending a lot of time on this defensive line moving forward. I say get him in there. How much more patience can you possibly have with Beck? And yes, he is playing a little better this year, Mike. But again, he's not playing any better than I've ever seen him play before. Yeah. I've seen him where he's at now before. Yeah. He never stays consistent, never stays level. He always goes back down. Again, get YA Black on that defensive line. Yep. His size, his youth. I'd go with him a lot more.
Him and Ukulele. Give me Ukulele and
I'll take Black. Ukulele. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I like, and Benton for me is a nice rotational piece. Rotational piece. Not a frontline starter.
Because he does have the experience and he does have the so
and he has a skill that you can use after those guys have been bullying the other guys in.
Absolutely.
Bring him in and let him use his quickness, whereas those guys use their strength. He is a rotational piece, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, you're right. The guy, again, as coming in as a backup, that's an ideal backup
role for him. Yeah,
right. I do want to say this, guys. This is the percentage. This is the percentage, of course, of teams with 4-0 records, 3-1 records, 2-2 records, 1-3 records, and 0-4 records after 4 weeks, Mike. So this is going to give us an idea of the percentage that we're working with to make the playoffs since 1990. These are how the numbers lie, Mike.
Okay.
4-0 teams. 4-0 teams after 4 games are 84.5%. They make to the playoffs.
Yeah.
64.9% they won their division. 12.4% win the Super Bowl. They go 4-0 in their first 4 games. 3-1, where we could be. We could be 3-1. 65.5% chance to make the playoffs. 39.9% chance to win the division. 5.7% chance to win the Super Bowl. 2-2, which is the other option that we could be this week, Mike. If we're 2-2 teams since 1990, 37.3% chance go to the playoffs. 17.8% of those teams win the division, and 1.7 of those teams win the Super Bowl. Teams that are going to be not as good as us after this week. 1-3 teams, 13.9% of those teams go to the playoffs. 7.5% win their division. 0.4 win the Super Bowl. And finally, teams that go 0-4 after the first 4 games of the season, 0.9% chance of making the playoffs, 0.9% chance of winning their division, and finally 0.0% chance of winning the Super Bowl. Wow. 0.0. And Mike, that is the percentages. And again, we will fall either 3-1 or 2-2 after this game. And again, if we win against Minnesota, you're gonna be feeling really good.
Yeah,
because a lot of those issues, we could say, okay, we made it to 3-1 with the issues that we have. We're going into a break. We're coming into Ohio games, coming off the break. You got to be feeling good, knowing that you have down the road, you have your good teams. You're going to have Buffalo. You're going to have the Chargers. You're going to have Baltimore a couple times. So, if you win this game in Minnesota, against Minnesota, I think that goes a long way to see if we believe in ourselves as a competitive team, as a competitor in this league. Again, if you shit the bed, you go over there, guys give up, you come back 2-2. You have to sit around for an extra week and think about it. I want this win. I think this win's big for the Steelers. I think it's big for the morale of the troops. Mike, I want this win in Dublin. And again, it's in Ireland. What better place for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Roonies to win a football game?
Exactly. And it seems to be the locals have taken to the Steelers. I don't know. It's just because that's their home team and that's what the NFL is, hyping up over there. Like, hey, this is the home team. Or make it like a hometown atmosphere for them. But everything I've seen from fans going over, reporters going over, it's like a Pittsburgh atmosphere over there. There's a lot of black and gold being worn by the locals. Now, is that going to translate into the stands? You don't know. It's probably going to be, 50-50 for the Steelers and Vikings, and then after that, it's going to be the Euro fans having a good old party over there. So I don't think home field is going to be an issue. But the Steelers team needs to act like it's a home field. Win the fans onto your side, and get a win and go into the bye, because usually coming out of the bye, we do pretty well, gearing up for that next opponent. Last year coming in against Washington, a team that was on the rise, a team that was taking the league by storm, we came in. Yeah, we escaped with a win, but we weren't supposed to hang with them last year, and we found a way to do it. The Steelers usually do pretty well after the bye, so you get a win here, come back after the bye. Who we have? Cleveland, I think? Cleveland or Cincinnati? Yeah, one of those two teams. Like you said, the Ohio team's coming back-to-back. So, yeah, get a win here, get the bye, come back after the bye, get a win, and just, hopefully go on a little bit of a roll to, like you said, build a cushion early. So if we do have a collapse, we won't be too bad. And the odds, going 3-1, a whole hell of a lot better than 2-2. Let's put ourselves up in a good position here.
Absolutely. Guys,
we'll be getting healthy. We're going
to take a halftime break just for a couple seconds here to say that if you do want to participate, guys, we are picking every week on the CBS Pick'em. Mike's going to put the link up on the terrible board. Also, if you just go right outside onto our YouTube page, the link's there as well. Every week, it costs absolutely nothing. It takes about 30 seconds to sign up. Everybody, Mike, that's playing so far this week, everybody picked the winner last night in the Thursday night game, which, of course, was played between Seattle and Arizona. Seattle wins this game, Mike, to improve to 3-1, and every single person on the CBS Pick'em did take that. So good luck to everybody this weekend. It's gonna, Mike. This again, as you went down and picked your games this week, you have 3-0 teams against 3-0 teams. You have 0-3 teams against 0-3 teams. You have teams that match up really well. So again, I think this might be the week that creates separation on the CBS Pick'ems, guys. Again, click on the link, sign up. It just takes 30 seconds, costs absolutely nothing. Place your picks every week, see how you fall. Again, Mike, so far this week, everybody did take the winner. So good luck. Moving forward, guys, we'll, of course, get into the results early next week as we do get all the results in entirety. So we'll do that. But good luck, everybody. It's a lot of fun. Let's get back on the board, Mike. I don't want to leave anybody out. This game is too big. It's the Dublin game. This is the game that people talked about all offseason. So we're going to get back into it here. And I'm going to start right here where Phil still says, the scheme sucks. 92 said it. Hey, and if you don't listen to 92, you got to shave his back. So do what you want with that. Somber said, even if they don't put Black out there, put ukulele, anyone but Keanu, for the love of all that's holy. Let's see. Steve M says, hoping for Rogers to Rogers connections this Sunday. Pittsburgh Rogers to the Minnesota Rogers. LOL.
Boo this man, boo.
Is this the Steve M, Mike, that we know, or?
I think this might be a different Steve.
Oh, different Steve M. Okay.
Yeah.
Tortilla says,
better not be the one I'm related to.
Well, at least with the Minnesota Viking pitcher, I would think that.
Hey, that would be elite tier trolling.
Tortilla says, I'd even put Benton on the edge when Watt is off the field before putting him at nose tackle. He's built more like an edge than a nose tackle. Also, Tortilla says this, Liel and Benton on the edge, Black and Harmon in the middle when Herbig, Cam, and Watt are off the field. That could help with stopping the run. Drummer Lake, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I do want to say welcome to the board. He's saying that Minnesota's going to win this game 27-17, Mike, 27-17. I am seeing some predictions on scores are popping up on the board every now and then, so we will keep announcing.
Who that man?
Tortilla does, yes, welcome to Terrible Board, welcome to the show. Great to have you. Tortilla says, I'm hoping there's some good chance in the stand. Muth better get a boost when they yell Muth.
That's the thing about European fans. Their chants.
They buzz.
They are fucking phenomenal. So much better than what we have over here.
They always buzz. They're always buzz, like the stadium buzzes in Europe. I don't know what that's all about.
Constant chanting and going on in the stands.
I wonder if it'll sound like they're saying Muth, because you know how like when an English person sings, like from Britain, they sound like English, like American English.
Yeah.
I wonder if their chants are going to sound Irish. Like, or what about Pink Floyd? When the little kids sang in that song, they actually sounded English.
They did too. That was creepy.
Aaron Jade. Aaron said 27-24 Steelers. I'm liking that. Somber says Browns. Well,
He's answered my question. Yeah,
okay, I was going to say, try to figure. Tortilla says, at Steve, I'm hoping there's a lot of Wentz to bench connections. David Terrian, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Terrible Board. He says, Skip. 007 says, Alex Highsmith is injured a lot. He sure is. Every year we've had injury issues with him, guys. And I said, and you know what? Listen, I understand that Bud Dupree wasn't the answer, but I was against Alex Highsmith getting the big money, especially after Bud Dupree was getting just as good as results. It's the playing opposite side, TJ Watt. And again, you've seen that when Bud Dupree went elsewhere and played, his numbers dropped and his production dropped. I guarantee that happens to Alex Highsmith if he went elsewhere. And I'm not bad-mouthing Highsmith. He's solid.
Yeah.
He's a good run stopper for the most part. But I do think if you send him to Atlanta or one of Tennessee, one of these other teams that Bud went to, I think it's the same results for him. I really do, Mike.
I do too. And like, I wasn't opposed to signing him. I was opposed to like how much they gave him.
Right.
And it turned out to be a bargain because the prices kept going up and up on these guys. But he had that one really good year, and that was it. His other years have been solid, but then he's starting to get banged up, nicked up. Now missing chunks and chunks of time. It's like, ugh.
I love paying guys.
I
love paying guys that do nothing. That's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, like I liked Alex Highsmith. Like when we drafted him and watching him develop and get better year over year, that was I liked it. I like seeing a player like that come along, and reward him, give him the contract. But I thought it was too much money. Listen, but now it's looking like a steal. But the injury bug is starting to get to him, and it's just.
Mike, I'm not a tyrant. That's what you have to understand. I don't say things like, I just love paying money for people to do nothing. Here's the thing. That money could be going elsewhere for things that we do need from guys from like Highsmith, who's been on the sideline so much these past couple seasons. He's got he got a nice meaty contract.
Yeah.
He's sure making good on his money. I got to be honest with you. I'm not thrilled with Alex at this point. Again, the injuries anymore are crazy to me in this league. These hammies. Joey Porter's been out almost a month now with a hammy, and you see this a lot more now than you used to. And I mention this every week on the show. Obviously, I say that it used to be a rub it out and get back out on the field thing. The NFL is a different place now. And again, I don't know what's wrong with Alex Highsmith's vagina, but he's been missing so much time over the past couple seasons, past 3-4 years, especially with the groin, the vagina injury that he's been enduring. Again. You could be using that money elsewhere that could be helping this team.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Highsmith guy, especially because of his injury issues. And I know you can't help it, but still, at the end of the day, we're watching it to watch our football team win, and it's unsettling. It's not. It don't make you feel good.
It does not, and he's signed through 2028.
Unless we could package him up somewhere. Another one, Mike, a guy that we was talking about that we could have possibly had this offseason was Debo. He went to Washington, along with Bobby Wagner. Every player that I ever wanted went to this Washington team. Mike, he had a 69-yard kickoff return the other night, Debo. So just, again, I'm just watching these guys that maybe we could have had that went elsewhere. We didn't want to pay money, but you're seeing their production. So let's get back to the board right here. I saw him. This is one thing too, Somber. I started seeing this last night. The Tyreek Hill rumors are in full swing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they are.
I noticed this last night because about a week ago we mentioned that they weren't interested anymore because of the alleged domestic violence issues. But now I'm seeing the rumors more than I ever have. So I don't know. We will see.
I got some news here on injured players.
Yeah.
JPJ, Jalen Warren, Jonnu Smith are all questionable Deshaun Elliott was a full participant and will return.
All right.
So we get one guy back and potentially losing 3. Awesome.
That sounds right.
That sounds. Why can't we have nice things?
Tortilla says, make it happen, Omar. Corey says, Highsmith got that weak dick and only ply knees.
And one ply knees.
And one ply knees. Scott says this. He says, Steelers defense needs to get off the field on 3rd and long situations. Keep the Vikings offense honest by not giving up chunk plays. Make them have to execute long drives. Wentz will fold. My concern is this. I mean, can we get to a quarterback this year? You know, I mean, we faced a couple pocket guys in the past couple of weeks. Still not thrilled with the way things went. Yeah, Watt got a couple, and I guess Harmon got his first. But Mike, we have to continue to put pressure on quarterbacks. Yeah. Otherwise, they will sit back there. What's the difference between us and everybody else? Everybody is getting into our backfield so fast. We have to rush to throws. It's leading to a not as efficient offense. We're not generally, again, last week the numbers did go up a little bit. We're not generally putting a lot of pressure on quarterbacks. They're able to sit back there longer. They're able to see their guys get open. They're able to pick us apart. Why is the pressure been minimum so far this year, Mike?
I don't know if it has to do with the guys up front not doing their job or in the back end giving up what do you want to call it? Lax coverage and giving the easy throws to the quarterback. You know, what's going on? Is it chicken or the egg type situation here? Because I know we're blitzing at a pretty high rate, I think, for the NFL, but like the pressure percentage, the pressure rate is not corresponding with the blitz rate. So it seems like the guys up front are not doing their jobs and getting through guys. Because we're seeing like TJ Watt being double, triple teamed. And very rarely is anyone else going through and making a play one-on-one or running free like they should be. So I think it's just guys not beating their man across from them. And that's got to change. And we saw that last week with the addition of Harmon. I think we saw Watt get double-teamed a lot. Hayward was getting double-teamed. Harmon was starting to get double-teamed. So now they have to pick and choose who they're going to double-team. I think we're going to start seeing guys come more and more. And we saw Herbig flying off the edge last week. I think all this is going to play hand in hand. Harmon eating up blocks. Hayward now eating up blocks. Okay, now who you're going to double-team? You're going to double-team Watt? Okay, that's going to leave Herbig open. And I think we're going to start seeing a oh, God. Well, I forgot what I was going to say. But I think we're seeing the effects of Harmon in there, and guys are going to start becoming free now because he's another big body that teams are having to account for. And I'm looking for Watt, or not Watt. I'm looking for Herbig to have another really good game this week. I think he's going to cause havoc, and it's going to be the Derek Harmon effect. And then I think that should limit some of those big shots downfield.
Well, I hope you're right, Mike.
I hope I'm right.
I hope you're right. I do say this. The Terrell Austin says this. He's confident. Terrell Austin, Mike, our defensive coordinator, says he's confident. The Steelers D has plugged leaks, allowing the tight end to beat them. Mike, the Steelers have not been able to stop a tight end from beating them for
40 years.
40 years.
Yeah.
but Mike, Terrell Austin, he's confident. He's confident.
The
Steelers defense has plugged leaks, allowing the tight end from beating them. You buy?
I wish I was joking about this, but when was the last time you saw a tight end successfully covered by the Steelers defense?
It's been a long time. We don't generally do it well. The middle of the field, for whatever reason, especially as of late, has been a playground for opposing teams.
For as long as I've watched football, I've just have always been arguing: can someone cover a tight end? Can someone cover a running back out of the backfield? And this spans every coach and every defensive coordinator. And why the fuck can we not figure it out? Only had 44 years to do it of my lifetime.
Let's see what we got. What else we got on the board here? Tortilla, of course, says if we get Hill, that will only increase the amount of screens. RB says Highsmith is the worst of the Robins we had since Jarvis Jones, Green, Higgins, Woodley, Moats, Dupree. Moats didn't have the stats, but he made a 19th of the money and was never hurt. Somber says this. I believe we have like 21 million in cap space. Hill's contract is around 26 million. The Steelers would be responsible for half, so they'd still have 7 million and change afterwards. I'm just going to get into a couple of these other next couple of messages because it's about some of these guys that, we're talking about could possibly came here. And again, with the rumors with Tyreek Hill, and this is going to actually go to another direction real quick here. RB says Samuels is shit as a wide receiver. His appeal comes from the halfback wide receiver gadget shit. You know what? It would still be more than what we have. And that's what I'm saying. But what's going on in Washington, I don't know. Again, I haven't seen much. I just do know that he's made a couple big splash plays. But again, I think Tyreek Hill, Mike, how different is he in a sense? Because again, a lot of his life, he has been a one-trick pony. But again, he can make plays, catch a ball over the middle. And if he has a step on a guy, he can make a nice gain.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there would be an advantage to bringing somebody like Tyreek Hill in. What do you think that it would take, Mike? Again, last week, no, he's having issues with the law. This week, again, the rumors are back. Is it realistic that we could see Tyreek Hill wearing the black and gold this season?
I don't know because we're only responsible for a small portion of his salary this year, but it's that next year money that is so fucking huge for him, where it balloons up to 2026 $51 million. If you cut him, that's a $28 million cap hit. Like, what are they going to? They're going to restructure him? I don't know. Like with that cap hit, like I'm not offering a high pick for him.
No.
Fucking, I'll give you a 6th round pick for him. Throw in a 7th next year as a sweetener. There you go. Like, because you can tell, like, Mike McDaniels doesn't want him on the team. Tyreek Hill doesn't want to be there. He wants to be gone and playing for a contender. I don't know if they are going to try and hold out. See, like, is Kansas City going to do something stupid? If they win Baltimore, are they going to go all in and try and get this guy because their pass offense isn't looking that great? Are they waiting for offers from teams who have cap space and can eat his cap and give you a better draft pick? I don't know what's going on down there in Miami. I'm hoping Miami loses this week, and
Well, let's look at what Scott's saying on the board. Scott's saying getting Hill would stop him from going to another AFC contender. Yeah. It's time to go all in and hope the tackles grow some onions. And that's the thing. I mean, he could go. He's going to go to Kansas City, or he's going to go somewhere that's going to knock us out of the playoffs in the first round. Why not in this all-in season? Again, look at everything else you went in all in. I said this from day one, Mike. If you go all in, go all in. You can't go half-ass when you go in all in because, again, you waste a bunch of opportunities. You waste a bunch of money. You bring guys in. You waste time, and then you don't completely go in. At this point, bring in more weapons. I want more weapons. We're not setting the league on fire by any means. Again, we're looking okay. We somehow are over 500. We have 66% winning percentage after 3 games. But again, Mike, there's a lot of football left. Again, we're going to get that point to the schedule where we play the teams that Baltimore lost to already. Mm-hmm. They're going to get to the point of the season when they play the New Englands and the Jets. So, again, we have to find ways to be able to stay with the crowd. At this point, at the end of the day, it's not my money. I want to see this football team win. So it's my best interest to go get the best person, and that's what I want them to do. If they go out and get a Hill, if they go out and get any of these guys, I think it's just going to help make this team be a little bit better.
If we go out and get all these fancy, shiny toys and we can't get them the ball because our quarterback's under duress the whole game, doesn't that defeat the purpose of getting them?
Nope.
Okay.
At least you put your best foot forward. I mean, we've been getting the same results with nothing. So I'd like to at least try to do it with the shiny toys for once.
All right. And thing is, though, too, they're going all in and they haven't yet mortgaged anything for the future. Hopefully, if they do pull us off, they don't give up any assets that would be considered like mortgaging the future. Because I don't want to see like anything above a 4th round pick. And
no, me neither.
And a borderline starter player going back, like package Roman Wilson into a trade with him. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they'd be knocking down the door for that one.
Hey, as long as it's not Calvin Austin, because he's the only other receiver on the team producing.
Yeah. RB says this. He says, everyone who wants Hill is a Madden fantasy player or a highlight watcher. He leads the league in drops every year. Alligator arms, tons of balls, doesn't block, and can't run. That's what I thought I remembered hearing and seeing, but see, Corey says Highsmith gets injured rushing quarterbacks as often as Kaboli does squatting to take a shit. RB says he's legitimately one of the only fast, and that's his entire game. Mark Malone, brother, man, what's up? I haven't seen Mark Malone. I don't know, this week we had issues with our computers. Glad to see you, Mark. Hope everything is going well for you, my man. Big game on Sunday. Mark Malone says this: instead of the steel curtain, we have the Great Wall of Trannies. Always great having Mark back on the board. Welcome back, man. Somber says I'm not a Halo fan personally, but that usually means we'll sign it, right? RB says if we can't figure out how to use Calvin Austin correctly, we won't be able to use Hill correctly. Somber says I say we elevate Keshawn Williams. He can return too. You know what? Maybe. We don't really have a legit returner, Mike. What's going on the as far as kickoff returns go?
I don't know. It's in shambles back there.
007 says, with the Steelers having issues stopping the run, I wish they would have re-signed Landon Roberts. Me too. You know what? I fell in love with the Landon Roberts from the day he got here, and he was solid. He was a guy that got his hat on every tackle. Every tackle, his hat was on the ball. Every play he was in. I loved Landon Roberts. Not great, not Ray Lewis by any means, but for what we had going and what we do have going, I think Landon was very solid. Hey, don't ask me though. I was a big Spillane guy who did have 15 tackles leading the way this past week against us in the game against the Patriots. But yes, I'm a big Landon Roberts guy too. Tortilla says Roman Wilson in a 2027 third. They'd eat most of his salary. That's the deal I'd send over. And Steve M does say Minnesota gets stud wide receiver Jordan Addison back against the Steelers this week. This should open up the middle of the field for the Vikings tight end Hawkinson and take away double teams on Jefferson. Very, very familiar with Mr. Addison. Of course, he was here in Pitt, had very good numbers with Kenny Pickett the year they won the ACC championship. I've definitely had this circled on the calendar, Steve, for quite some time. For them guys, for your guys, it looks like getting Mr. Addison back, and it is going to create issues. And Mike, he's very hungry to find the end zone. From things that I'm reading, Mr. Jordan Addison cannot wait to score, and I hope we could stop him for our sake. But Steve, I think you're right. It is going to create more problems. So that's why I do hope that this secondary does come in more healthy this weekend, Mike, with Joey Porter Jr., with Deshaun Elliott, and all these other pieces that we did build in the offseason for these kind of situations. Mm-hmm. We knew we would be facing Jordan Addisons and Jeffersons and all these guys. So again, we go out and build this secondary. Let's get healthy. Maybe that's going to give us the chance to win this football game.
Yeah, it's looking like Elliott's definitely, like I said, definitely back. I don't think we're going to see Porter this week. That feeling like him and Warren and Jonnu Smith will be out.
Let's see right here. Scott says, "Can the Steelers get away from drafting the Smurf receiver?" I know. Why do we draft every receiver under 5 foot tall? I've never seen this. And Mike, I did mention this the other day. It's usually the receivers that are tall and the corners that are short. Now the corners are getting taller. And our receivers are certainly shrinking. I mean, between Calvin and Roman, and these are in the unexciting whites that we have is the wide, Miller and Skoranek. These aren't the biggest guys ever. We must have the smallest wide receiver room in the league.
It's not that small. Skoranek's not a little guy.
He's not big.
He's like 6'2", 6'4", in that range.
How many catches have you seen him have this season?
A touchdown catch.
Okay.
That's all I got for him.
And it was like, what, first game of the year, so do what you want with that.
The first touchdown
wasn't that Scotty Miller? Or no, it was Skoranek, wasn't it?
That was Skoranek.
Epsilon motion pitchers. Jaylen Warren is questionable. We are cooked. How do you feel if Jaylen Warren doesn't play? I mean, that's a huge part of our offense, Mike. Not only our number one running back, he is the number one wide receiver at this point by numbers.
Yeah.
How does this offense fare without Jaylen Warren in the lineup against Minnesota?
Probably not that good.
Yeah.
Hold on. I have their I had Minnesota's rush defense up here. I think they're giving up like 130. Yeah, they're giving up 130 yards a game rushing. So I was like, oh, this is going to be a good opportunity for the run game to get going and Jalen Warren to get going. Now I got to get ready for Trey Sermon, Kenneth Gainwell, and potentially Caleb Johnson. That does not breed excitement for Vanilla Thunder.
This isn't what I meant when I said Caleb should be getting some reps in the backfield. Yeah. But let's continue on here a little bit. Somber's on Exciting Whites. Tortilla says we started drafting short guys because they got tiny egos. Maybe. But you know what? AB, he was kind of a short guy too, but his ego wasn't exactly tiny. Also, Tortilla does say all the guys over 6 foot crashed out. No, you're right, mate. And you know what, Steve? That was I purposely not mentioned Metcalf because, of course, he is a big guy. Somber says hopefully his carries go to Caleb and not Gainwell and Sermon. Mark Malone says, "Come on, man! Skoranek has more than pulled his weight on team. I would like to see it continue, but again, he's gone invisible the last couple of games. How can you take guys serious? And Mark Malone has him up at 6'3", 225, which is a big guy. But how can you take somebody serious if he goes weeks without being? You don't even see him. You know that's not a effective player to me. That's somebody that had a play. He made a good play, and for whatever reason, they haven't gone back to him. So again, I mean, legit weapons teams that guys that look across the line and see our guys and say, "Oh, well, that's a good player." I don't throw Skoranek in that group of guys. And then the other guys, everybody else is under 3 feet tall. So I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. Like sometimes things look good, other times things are like, why? What's that all about? So
yeah. And I do want to shout out that I did have Dante Thornton in one of my mock drafts posted on the blog at the Dum Yinzers as a 7th round pick at the beginning of the draft process.
Okay.
I'm gonna say I thought I remember him coming out like, "Oh, this would be a steal in the draft."
Another thing to mention, Mike, Andy Weedle has been at Arizona State twice, visiting and watching quarterback Sam Levitt and wide receiver Jordan Tyson. Jordan Tyson does lead the Big 12, Mike, with 357 receiving yards, 31 catches and 5 touchdowns total. So, talking a little bit about heading into the draft, of course, right here in Pittsburgh in April. Hopefully, Mike, we make a big splash this year. We can get some big-time players, especially moving forward. A lot of questions are going to be had about the quarterback position, of course, with just drafting Will Howard and then looking at quarterbacks at high draft picks next year. So a lot we're going to get into that, of course, when the time comes. But right now, guys, we have a game 9:30, less than 48 hours away. 9:30 Sunday morning against the 2-1 Vikings at Croke Stadium in Ireland. Mike, I got to be honest with you. It's going to be a struggle for most people. And as you see it on the board, a lot of people, Mike, they're going to be waking up at 6:30. 6:30 in the morning will be the kickoff. So you got to be getting up earlier than that to get your coffee or your beer or whatever you're going to be doing. And if you are going to be drinking beer Sunday morning, make sure to make it a Duquesne Pilsner. That's
our
right.
Friends.
Duquesne Pilsner, our friends. They do great things for us, and we want to return the favor for them, guys. So don't forget, grab a Duke. As it says right on the can, it is the finest beer in town, made right here in the Berg. So, guys, let's see. Let me catch up. I do have another message here on the board. Motion Pictures did say this: the offensive sucks. That's why the offense sucks. That's why the receivers crash out. But people will continue the narrative that they're divas in Pittsburgh. Mike, this is something that Doug Watley made a comment about our team and Mike Tomlin.
Is Doug Wait?
Yeah, Whately. Whatly.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the dude who got fired for sending porn. Okay, yeah, that guy.
This report, I'm like, listen, just shut up for a second. This reporter who sells porn apparently believes the league's young, innovative coaches are catching up to Mike Tomlin. It was the comment he made. The league's young, innovative coaches are catching up to Mike Tomlin.
Haven't you and I and the board been saying this for the past 3 years now?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted, because I saw that comment too, and I was like, yeah, like our comment section's been saying that.
I think the young, innovative coaches have passed Mike Tomlin.
You think? they passed a lot of coaches that are from that era too. I mean, shit, man. Look at Belichick's last 2-3 years in the league. It was dog shit, man. Because all the new coaches that came, you're seeing it. Look at Kevin O'Connell's offense Brian Flores' defense, Ben Johnson's offense from the Lions. Innovative, forward-thinking offenses and defenses. Yes, it's passed him by. Well, yeah. Welcome to 2022 there, Doug Whaley, whichever one you were. I think
it is Whaley.
The news finally caught up to you.
Where is Whaley? Is he
he's nowhere. He's nowhere.
Not local?
After getting fired by Pittsburgh for emailing porn to everyone, he got fired in Buffalo for fucking up their team, and now he's the football expert for one of the local radio stations.
Okay, so there you go. Guys, it is time. It's time to get into the overs and unders for this game coming up this weekend against the Minnesota Vikings. Guys, do feel free to put your opinions and your answers up on the board. We're going to hit on the overs and unders. Guys, Mike, here we go. Over or under Aaron Rodgers this weekend against Minnesota in Ireland. 1.5 touchdowns, Mike. Aaron Rodgers, 1.5 touchdown passes. Over or under?
That'd be 2. Under.
All right. Mike says under on 1.5 touchdowns passes by Aaron Rodgers. Now, this, of course, is if Jalen Warren plays. Mike, Jalen Warren, 49.5 rushing yards.
Under.
All right. Interesting. DK Metcalf, 4.5 catches.
Ooh.
DK Metcalf, 4.5 catches.
Over.
All right. Tight ends. The tight ends that we went on and built this whole team around. Combined effort, Mike, our tight ends, 5.5 catches.
Under. If John Oo's going to be out, he's good for like 3 of those short little passes. And in Buth has the dropsies this year.
Roman Wilson, a half catch.
Under.
All right, under. Roman Wilson, a half catch. Under on that.
He has more run blocks than catches this game.
Calvin Austin, III, a half a touchdown.
Over.
1.5 turnovers.
Over.
And finally, Mike, for the offense, special teams, 2.5 field goals made by Chris Boswell. 2.5 field goals made by Chris Boswell. Over or under?
Over.
All right, let's get over to the defensive side of the ball for a couple. Mike, TJ Watt, is he going to have a half a sack? Over or under?
Over. Excuse me.
Derek Harmon, is he going to have a half sack?
Push.
Turnovers caused by the Steelers. 1.5 turnovers caused by the Steelers defense. Over or under?
Damn.
This isn't New England.
This isn't New England. It is Carson Wentz. That's a good offense. Under.
And finally, the one that has become notorious.
Yeah.
Notorious on the 2 Dum Yinzers, guys. Is there going to be a half of a devastating injury, Mike? Over or under? Will there be somebody of importance or somebody with a long-term injury this weekend against the Vikings, Mike? 1/2, a devastating injury for the Steelers. Over or under?
I think last week was the only week where we didn't have one. I think that was a fluke. I'm taking the over.
All right, we're due.
We are. And it's all your fault, my friend. Forward all complaints to Ryan. Care of the 2 Dum Yinzers stuck up.
Let's catch up on a couple messages here, Mike. Got a lot of predictions, a lot of over and unders by the guys. Richard, RB participating as well.
Love it. Love it.
All right, let's go. I'm going to go right here. Okay, here we go. We'll just start right here with Corey. Corey says another scary stat is Minnesota's 4-0 at overseas, and we're 0-1.
I don't like it. I don't like the trend.
Okay, here we go. Mark Malone says, dude, he has forced and recovered how many fumbles on kicks? Skoranek, is he? I don't know. I mean, is this? I don't know. I'm not thrilled with him. I would rather have somebody that's a little bit more productive. But you know what? If he's getting all those little things done, that's important too.
I like him on special teams. I think he's a damn good special teams player.
Scott Atkins says Steelers need to get back to the best available instead of becoming a pigeonhole on drafting a need. That's how you build a contender. That's through the draft. RB says, I'll take shit for this, but it's true. The wide receiver situation has been shit for years. Paying old-ass Hines over Prime Burris, I'm sorry, was a mistake, is what RB's hot take is. Also, RB follows that by saying Sanders would have been just as good as Brown if he was force-fed like Brown, but 1/100th of the problem. And follows that up by saying leaving Bryant to be in a room being led by AB and Juju was criminal. Motion Picture says people wake up at 6:30 on the West Coast, drink a beer to watch us lose. I didn't have us winning the game in the beginning of the season. And you know what, Mike? When we did it at the beginning of the year, I think I had us 2-2 after 4 games. But again, I hope for the best. Let's get this win.
Yeah.
It's a Pittsburgh Steelers game in Ireland.
Yeah.
It almost feels like, how Steelers got a good record on Monday Night Football. It just feels like something that just needs to happen. The Steelers need to win.
It needs to happen, but I just don't think it is going to happen.
RB says, to clarify, I don't think Sanders has the same numbers, but he's just as good and don't demand 20 targets a game and won't throw a bitch fit if he doesn't get it. Now, Sanders was tough, man.
He was tough.
He went on the Denver. He was on the Super Bowl winning team, and he had a good career.
Antonio Brown was, I'm sorry, without question, the greatest route runner of all time. Had some of the best hands and the greatest body control I've seen in a receiver.
Yeah.
I like Manny Sanders. I thought it sucked when he left, but give me AB and his issues over Sanders any day of the week.
Richard said Rodgers over on the 1.5 touchdowns. He's saying
Hope you're right.
Warren over on the 49.5 rushing yards. He's saying DK over on the 4.5 receptions. Corey is saying, but most of the numbers point to Mike Tomlin getting his 9th win over Minnesota, but he currently has an 8-10 losing record. Steve says, have great respect for the people of Pittsburgh, hardworking. They back their team the same the Vikings fans back. Absolutely. Vikings have a lot of pride in their team. No two ways about that. That was one of my teams as a kid. Like, when you're a kid and you don't really know better and you're you're experimenting, you're curious. The Vikings were my curious team when I was a kid.
I mean, and they had good teams, good players too, like John Randall. Like, if you're a fan of football, how could you hate John Randall, Chris Carter?
See, I was a more Anthony Carter day, but I definitely know what you're talking about. I was earlier in the 90s, but that were kind of like my guilty pleasure, the Minnesota Vikings.
Dude, when they got Randy Moss, they became one of my favorite teams to watch.
Really?
Him and Culpepper and Chris Carter. That was some fun football to watch.
Robert
right
Smith. That was a good team, man.
I like those teams. That's why I messed up the trivia question when I said Robert Smith. I totally forgot about Adrian Peterson.
Jared Allen was a beast.
Yeah, Jared Allen. He was a beast.
Return over for Roman, Mike. So Roman Wilson I have is a half catch. Mm-hmm. Richard has him over on that.
Ooh.
Corey says,
he's due every other game. He gets a catch.
Corey says, over. Good luck Sunday, Steve. Hope it's a fun game for both teams, no matter the outcome. Motion Picture says over plus 2 touchdowns for Rodgers, under for Warren, over for DK on the 4.5 catches. Roman over. He'll have 3 catches in junk time. Calvin Austin under and over on Boswell as always. Somber says Harmon going up against the backup guard. So I think that's going to help get us over on that. Richard saying over on Boz, over on turnovers. No injuries this week. I think it might be one of the bigger things. If we could come home if we come back to the States injury-free from this game, I'll feel good, Mike, because some of those other guys are going to start being able to play as we are on this bye, I think. Again, we get the win. You come home with a little bit of some confidence. You let everybody get healthy. Then you start playing these Ohio games. I think that's best case scenario. We could win and come home healthy, I think, is what Steeler fans should want to see happen this weekend, Mike.
Yeah, win, get home healthy. Like, I agree, man. That's like, you don't want to get hurt, but it sucks if it's on one of these games that's over in a foreign stadium. Because like RB was saying, like some of these fields have been disgusting.
There's one for you. This 007 says, is Tomlin going to make adjustments at halftime over or under?
over, man. They've always seemed to come out a different team in half.
Steve says, hopefully no injuries to either team. Hopefully not. Corey says, agreed, Steve. I hope you're a lifelong Vikes fan and you're not one of those new fans, LOL. But you guys can afford to go 2-0. And nobody, as far as teams around the league, I guess, the Vikings deserve some success, man. I'm glad to see it going good for them over there. Tortilla says, if you're taller than 5'11", play wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Buy my insurance. Scott says, are the Steelers afraid to throw to tight ends in the seam and open up run lanes? I think we have enough of them, right? Yeah, I would hope we built our whole team around tight ends.
On the game-winning drive, it was like, a 13-yard, 21-yard pass to John O. Smith up the seam.
Yeah.
It worked. It was there. It was open. Muth last year too. That was one of the big things to like get him down the seam.
RB says Vikings has the original Heinz Ward, the white dude Walsh. I think I know what you're talking about.
I don't know.
He's tough. Phil still says, let's remember that Vanilla said week 1. It's just another game.
Just another game.
Motion picture.
We're trying to be 1-0 this week, boys.
Motion picture says health is wealth. Come back to the States completely healthy. If we could do that, like I said, if we could add a win with that as well, get the win and come home healthy into the bye week, I'm going to be feeling pretty good. Still not loving everything that's going on with this team, but again, if we could be 3-1 at the break and come home and get healthy. That again, you'd have to like that situation if that be what happens. Corey says that Scott. I think we have a couple of tight ends, if I could remember correctly. I don't know, Mike. Do we have tight ends? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. We might have a handful.
RB says people say Hines changed wide receiver blocking. Walsh was the original take your head off and shut down your throat while wide receiver. I think I know you're talking about. Steve says, I've been a Vikings fan since I was 6 years old. I'm now 62. So yes, I witnessed all fall Super Bowl losses. They were all in the 70s. All 4 of those Super Bowls were in the 70s. And the Purple People Eaters, Fran Tarkin. I mean, they were great. They were kind of like the Buffalo Bills in a way, Mike, because they were good enough to win Super Bowls. It was just unfortunate they were playing teams in the Super Bowl that were just better than they were that year.
Steelers, the Raiders. It's like so many good teams in that era.
It's crazy they didn't get their championship. It really is.
It is too. And then the year, man, poor Gary Anderson. I never saw him miss a field goal in Pittsburgh. He misses the biggest kick of his life.
15-1, baby. 15-1. You know what? They lose to the 14-2 Atlanta Falcons that year to go on to play Denver in the Super Bowl. I thought that 15-1 team beats Denver in that Super Bowl.
I think Culpepper and Moss have a field day in that game.
The Dirty Birds and Dan Reeves, that Atlanta Falcons team, they just weren't built to beat the Elway and the Broncos. I think the Minnesota could have beat that team. I've always thought that, actually. And then Motion says, as long as Baltimore loses, everything will be okay with me. And that's true. They have the game against Kansas City, guys, where both of those teams have the possibility of going down 1-3. 1-3 on the season. I think the team that rebounds best from that situation would be Baltimore. Mike, I think if the Chiefs fall to 1-3, especially with the Chargers playing the way they are at the top of that division, I think it's going to be tough for Kansas City to get back in this race. Not only for the division, I just think, Mike, this might be a long year for them to even make a playoff spot if they fall to 1-3.
Going to 3 straight Super Bowls, you have to have like attrition and fatigue and being there, been there, done that. How are you going to get up for a regular season game and gone to 3 straight Super Bowls? And I don't know if they had a lot of roster turnover. Some of their key guys are getting older too. Like, I don't want to say like, their run's over, because we saw what happened in New England. They had a couple down years and then were boom right back in there because who was still there? Belichick and Brady. I don't see Reed or Mahomes going anywhere soon. But I think Baltimore will have an easier run. The AFC North is not as tough as the AFC West. And I think Baltimore has enough talent to pull it off, definitely on offense. And I'm just surprised how bad their defense is this year. The worst defense for yardage and next to last for points against in Baltimore. You don't see that down there.
Guys, again, that is the Ravens in the Chiefs. Let me blow through these games real quick, Mike. This is what's going on this weekend. Of course, the game last night between Seattle and Arizona finished 3-point difference in favor of Seattle. The Seahawks win 23-20 last night on Thursday Night Football. Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. here at Eastern Standard Time. The Vikings will be playing our Pittsburgh Steelers. 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, the Commanders at the Falcons. The Chargers at the Giants. Does Russell Wilson move this year? He obviously got benched. Jackson Dart's going to be playing. It's interesting to see if Russell Wilson gets moved at the trade deadline, and if he does that affect the compensatory picks?
See, that I don't know. To be honest with you, I do not know.
All right. Also on Sunday at 1 o'clock, the Titans travel to Houston to take on the Texans. The Philadelphia Eagles, Mike. This should be a good game between the Eagles and the Buccaneers. This one down in Florida between two 3-0 teams. The Panthers of Carolina coming off a huge 30-0 win over Atlanta, Mike. They traveled up to New England, Foxborough, Massachusetts, to play the Patriots. Of course, they just lost to the Steelers. The Saints and the Bills. This one I would think should be a no-brainer, Mike. Saints at the Bills. Browns at the Lions. I don't know if the Browns got two upsets in them the way that come on, you got to beat the Lions a week after beating Green Bay. We'll see, though, but this one is at Ford Field, Mike. Cleveland at Detroit. The Jaguars at the 49ers. This is a 4:05 game. Also 4:05, the undefeated Indiana Jones led Indianapolis Colts team, Mike. They're traveling out west to take on the LA Rams. That should be a good game. The Bears and the Raiders, for what it's worth, should be a good game also in Vegas. Mike, this game at 4:25 is a big one for us, not only for us, but also around the league, just depending on, for AFC seeding and everything else, Mike. The Ravens at the Chiefs, that is a 4:25 game on Sunday. The Sunday night game. Sunday night is the Packers at the Cowboys. Packers, again, coming off the getting upset by the Browns. And this Cowboys team, Mike, they just can't seem to get their feet underneath them. This should, in theory, be a good game because the Cowboys kind of need to get back in the win column. But Green Bay, are they going to take two losses in a row? I don't know. Mike, and then there's two Monday night games again this week. One at 7:15 start, one's an 8:15 start. The Jets at the Dolphins. This is a game that I had a hard time picking. I'm going to be honest with you when it came to the CBS picks because the Jets, I don't know what to make.
I've been going back and forth on that game.
And again, the Dolphins, I don't know what to make. They seem like they stink, and then that was a hard one for me.
Yeah.
And then finally, Mike, the other Monday Night Football game this week is between the Bengals and the Broncos. That game is in Denver. That is an 8:15 start. Again, Jake Browning, 6 quarters played in taking over for Joe Burrow, Mike. 5 interceptions thrown in 6 quarters played. Leads the league. He leads the league in interceptions thrown already. So I can't wait. I can't wait to play
again. No NFL expert, but an insider. I think that's not a good thing.
I wouldn't think.
And I do have, as an NFL insider, a subsequent trade after you left via free agency does not affect the compensatory formula.
Okay, there you go.
That's why I am an NFL insider.
Scott says, as much as it hurts to do it, I'm rooting for the Queefs to beat the Baltimoreans. You know what? I am too. Ultimately, I hate the Queefs, but at the end of the day, I don't want Baltimore to win.
Exactly.
Because again, we're going to play the teams that they lost to. They're going to play the teams that we beat. Things are going to even out. Get it when the getting's good. I always believe that. I always live by that. Mike, they got to take advantage. We got to be able to get the wins when we can because, again, this all evens out. We get the wins now, the wins that we're hopefully supposed to get. It plays out for us better at the end of the year. So I agree 100%. I will be rooting for the Chiefs. Steve says, ouch, that Gary Anderson missed field goal against Atlanta. And again, a Steeler fan, but I do pay attention to the Vikings. It was tough. That was a tough one, and I certainly was rooting for that 15-1. Randy Moss, I don't know, was that his rookie or his second year, but it was definitely a year.
It was one of those. It was one of the two.
I think it was his rookie year. I truly do. Motion Picture says, I know I'm jumping ahead, but the Colts game will piss me off. Daniel Jones beating us is an absurd low. I agree. I agree. I want to know what the hell's going on, Mike. How did this team that wasn't that good? How does this quarterback who was terrible in New York for years, how do they have the best offense in the league? What's going on?
They have some really good offensive weapons.
Okay.
Don't let their like they had a shit quarterback in Anthony Richardson. They had some really good players on defense too, but Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, bringing in Tyler Warren, the tight end. They have pretty good, solid offensive line. But I did not think Danny Dimes would be this quarterback. I did not think he'd be the one to conduct that offense.
Mike, is it possible that he is a really good quarterback and the New York Giants just effed him up? I mean, because he was good in college, people liked him. He was, sought after. Went there, stunk to high hell, and now again he's leading the league with this Colts team. Could it be these guys that go to New York are just getting the screw? Look at Saquon Barkley, the success he's having. Yes, he was good in New York, but I mean, he's amazing in Philadelphia. Is New York just killing these guys?
Yeah. And they had a quarterback who left too in free agency, and after week 3, I think it was after this week, he was leading the league in interceptions.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But no, I never thought Danny Dimes had. In college coming out of Duke, and when he was drafted in the first round, people were like, really, this guy in the first round? Who would have thought, 6 years later, he'd be what he is after leaving New York. I thought he was a complete dud. I thought, he would show flashes, but it never continued.
And Mike, one thing I do want to say about Indianapolis, I have to package them in with, I got to bundle them in with Buffalo and Tampa Bay. Mike, those 3 football teams have not committed a turnover yet this season. Indianapolis, Buffalo, and Tampa Bay, none of those teams have committed a turnover yet this year. So they're doing something right in Indy. Where's Caleb at? Our moderator, we give him.
I know, right?
Well,
you scared him away with the every time he came on, he had to bring up the Pacers loss.
Well, I mean, who else am I going to talk to the Pacers about? It wasn't my fault that they didn't win the finals.
He finally got over it. He comes back, you bring it up, and we haven't seen him since.
Well, here's the thing: he was really into the Colts talk. Remember, he was talking about the songs they played at the stadium and that all off season. I'd like to talk to him now that Indiana Jones is doing what he's doing over there. A couple side notes here, Mike, before we do start wrapping it up, as we're rounding third, we are going to be hitting the trivia question of the day, the Minnesota question. Vikings, how well do you know your enemy? How well do you know your opponent? In just one moment, after I touch on a couple more things here, Mike. What do we have? Steelers express optimism about running game. Mike, they say that they're a block or 2 away. They're a block here or there away. Do you feel that's the case with our running game? Like, do you think it's just the matter of this line just has to get a little bit more solid and hold a block just a second longer? Or is that
it's showing up on tape? There's a couple of plays I've watched people dissect. Like, it is like a block or just taking the wrong cut. And there's the one play down in the red zone. Broderick Jones did not block a single person. He walked up, wandered around, meandered around, looked around. If he hits just one guy in front of him, Jalen Warren can pick a lane and go into the end zone. So there are plays there where it's a block away. There's other plays where they're getting blown up. That happens. But there are plays where, like, my God, if one of these guys picks up this block right here, there's a lane, there's a crease. So it's getting there. I hope they can figure it out, because they need to get this running game going, and that it's going to open up more of that offense. But if you can't get the run game going and you're one-dimensional and you can't pass block, you're fucked.
Corey says, I'm changing my pick to Pittsburgh. This is poised to be an upset special. I don't see us going 0-2 at home, since this is a home game for us. Steelers 20-17. A lot of bad luck is going to swing our way. Luck of the Irish, Corey is saying. Indy. Corey says Indy can't beat us in Pittsburgh, and we can't beat them at Lucas Oil. I'm relying on history for that one. Steve says Danny Dimes was the backup in Minnesota behind Sam Darnold last season. Oh, that's right.
Wow, he learned under Kevin O'Connell. Maybe Kevin O'Connell is this head coach, quarterback guru.
Motion pitcher says, what is your final score, fellas, if you haven't said it? Mike, think about that. I haven't really thought about what my final score is going to be for this game. By the end of the show, I will say, and then I also do want to say, Somber says it's true. If you watch the film, it's the issue with zone running schemes. If one guy isn't doing his job, the entire play is blown up. Mike, let's get into the trivia in just one moment. But first, why don't you tell everybody about the website?
The2dumyinzers.com. Check it out here, especially if you're new. We have more of our links, right? And social media links over there. We've got a merch store, and we got Vanilla Thunder's Dumb Thoughts. Go over there, check it out. Past 2 weeks, were pretty good thoughts about the loss to the Seahawks and the win over New England Patriots. So check it out at the2dumyinzers.com.
All right, guys, time for the question of the day. Trivia question. How well do you know our enemy? How well do you know our opponent? Of course, it's a Minnesota Viking related question. Mike, put on your thinking caps. Everybody on the terrible board, everybody at home, here we go. Question of the day. Last Vikings question of the year. Here we go. In the Steelers-Vikings Super Bowl, the final score was 16-6. The halftime score was 2-0 the Steelers. Which defensive player got the sack for the Pittsburgh Steelers to make it 2-0 at halftime? Take a minute to think that over, guys. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every day right here on the Tube.
On Tube.
Question of the day. Steelers 16-6 win Super Bowl win over the Vikings in the 70s. The halftime score was 2-0. 2-0 Steelers at halftime. Question of the day is this. Who got the safety for the Steelers? I got to say, I did meet this person, Mike, before they passed away. Really cool guy. I see 68 on the board. I see Joe Green, Finchy. Great seeing Finchy on the board. I will give a few more seconds. Phil got his answer up there. Guys, throw up your guesses if you have them. Looking for who got the Super Bowl safety against Minnesota to make it 2-0 at halftime. Let's see. Corey says, how much do you guys pay for a domain? I thought about creating my own website. I can get a hold of Mike, man. We'll get you all that information. We'll get you anything that you need, brother. Let's see. Because I'm not sure. I don't have the answer to give you right now. Steve says, I believe this was a field goal ending game. Boswell greater than Richard. Brian says, not Green. Corey Beaver says, I'm just going to say Mean Joe Green because I wasn't alive. Then I'm so relying on my shaky memory and well-known dominance or Lambert. You know what? I wasn't alive either. But Phil is still saying Dwight White. Dwight White is Phil is Still's guess. Mike, we have a bunch of different answers here on the board, a bunch of different guesses. Who do you think made the score 2-0 at halftime in the Steelers' 16-6 Super Bowl win over Minnesota in the 70s, Mike? Again, a few different answers. What are you thinking?
Well, the Steelers D-line, they went out. They ate all the shrimp in Nolans. Minnesota poisoned the shrimp, causing Dwight White to have food poisoning, missed the team picture. He was pissed about it. Wasn't even mentioned in there that he would miss the team photo for the Super Bowl and goes out and gets the safety to make it 2-0. That would be Mad Dog Dwight White.
Dwight White. Now, is that your final answer?
Should be in the Hall of Fame. Dwight White. Yes, my final answer.
All right. I had dinner with Dwight White. I'm locking you in on Dwight White.
You guys have shrimp.
You know what? We might have. Because it was at a river restaurant, a river or along the river, so we could have very well had shrimp. I don't know what he had, but really, really cool guy. That's so awesome. Dwight White is your final answer. Got you locked in on that, Mike. Locked in. Here we go. Steelers Vikings 16-6 Super Bowl. Who made the score 2-0 by creating the safety for the Steelers? 2-0 at halftime. Mike, you're saying Dwight White. A lot of Dwight White on the board as well. See some Joe Greens. Guys, the correct answer, of course, is Dwight White. 2-0. What an amazing, I mean, talking about a Super Bowl, huh? 16-6 final score, 2-0 at halftime. We thought these games they play now make us nervous.
Right?
Imagine in a Super Bowl with that kind of them kind of numbers. A couple things I do want to say, guys. Every home game, because of course they're talking about a lot of the things going on in Ireland. So I read this article, Mike. He said every home game in Pittsburgh at Acrisure, every home game pumps roughly 21 million into Pittsburgh's economies. That includes hotels, bars, restaurants, parking lots, vendors, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then, Mike, it adds inside the stadium, it adds $10 to $15 million made every game.
Shit.
So a lot of money goes into NFL. No two ways about that, and certainly doesn't skip us here in Pittsburgh. A few things before we do wrap up the show, Mike. Our other football team, the soccer team, our Pittsburgh Riverhounds, they host the Las Vegas Lights. Tomorrow night, 7:00 at Highmark Stadium. Also, the Pittsburgh Pirates, they are down to their last series of the season. They're at Atlanta for 3, Mike. When this series is over on Sunday, that is it. Baseball season is over in Pittsburgh. Pirates 69-90, limping into this last series, Mike. And again, when this weekend is over, the Pirates season is over. And finally, the Pittsburgh Penguins, Mike, they're back in action today as they host the Detroit Red Wings in preseason hockey. Penguins are back, Mike. Pirates done. Penguins started. Steelers are in full swing. Things are happening here in the Burgh.
That they are.
All right, my man. As we start getting ready to wrap things up for the day, I do want to say thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We really do appreciate each and every one of you. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you, everybody on the board. You guys are awesome as always, and you always keep things interesting here on the show. And everybody at home, maybe at the gym, maybe at work, maybe in your car, or just watching on your TV at home, thank you too. We'll be back Monday at our regular time. Again, Sunday, guys, is the big game, 9:30. You know what? I'm going to be thinking about all you guys, especially the guys out on the West Coast, getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'll certainly be feeling, I'll feel for you, and I will be hoping that maybe you'll be cracking open a cold Duquesne Pilsner to watch the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday morning, guys. Hope you do that again. Give the guys some love. They give us love, and you enjoy what we do, then give them some love back. Again, Duquesne Pilsner made right here in the Burgh. Mike, anything before we wrap it up, man? What do you got?
I got a little tidbit here. Since 2023, the Steelers are 16-1 in games in which they score 20-plus points.
Okay.
That's the best in the NFL, but they're 6-14 in games when they score under 20.
Mike, what's your prediction for the score for this game? I haven't even thought about my score. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm hoping. Here's the thing. I hope the Steelers win, but I'm thinking it's a good possibility Minnesota could beat us. I'm just trying to think of the way the games play out. If they end up scoring a lot of points by way of the way Seattle did, it might be that kind of game. So I don't know. If we lose, I think it's going to be something like Seattle. I'm going to say we could lose by 10 to 14 points. But if we win, it's going to be a close win, just like every other game the past 5 years, Mike. If we win, they seem to be close. If we lose, it's a little, the margin's a little bigger. So I don't really have a prediction as far as the score. I'm saying if we win, couple points, 3 to 5 point difference. If we lose, it could be 10 to 14 point difference. Mid-range score, mid-range games, 20, late teens to mid-30s overall. That's kind of where my score is. So I don't have a score, Mike. What do you say? What's your prediction for the game?
27-17 Seattle.
Okay, we did have that on the board somewhere else as well today. I remember 27-17 was certainly mentioned earlier.
I think I booed that man too.
You think you booed that man too?
I did boo that man, but maybe because secretly I was agreeing with him.
All right. I do want to catch you. Let me grab a couple more of these messages. I don't want to leave anybody hanging as we go. Corey says, I'm just going to say me and Joe Green. I wasn't a lot. Okay, I did get that one. Guys said white. A lot of guys pricked this one correctly. Somber. We appreciate you, man. Great to have you on the board today. Yes. Welcome, and we hope to have you back. Also, Mark Malone says, Jesus, I was mixing up Dwight White and Danny White in my mind. And finally, Corey says, my first episode is out now. Don't drink that. Be gentle, fellas. Go check out Corey Beavers. Corey, where can we find this? Spotify, I do know that. Give us a little bit of detail on the board. That way, people can go check it out. I do say go check out Corey's podcast. He's been a long-time listener, a long-time member of the board here. Wishing him all the luck with his new show. It's called Don't Drink That. It's about conspiracy theories, and I think that I'm going to be very interested in this. If you want to throw a few details out there. Also, Mike, don't forget, and I guess you have to have them in now, but if you want to join the CBS Pick'em, hit the link right here in the Terrible Board or just right outside on the page, and you could sign up. Takes under 30 seconds. It costs nothing, and take picks with us in the board every week, week in, week out. See how you do. It's a lot of fun. Again, I think RB's up there really high. I know that Richard's up there really high. Guys are doing really well. So the games are going to get more difficult as we go. Earlier, I thought it was a little bit easier, but they are going to get more difficult. But Corey is saying Spotify right now. So check out Corey's first episode. Don't Drink That. It's a conspiracy theory podcast. Check him out, Corey, over on Spotify. I do also want to say, if you haven't had a chance yet, swing over to our anywhere on social media, guys. We're on Facebook, X, Instagram, Threads, even TikTok. Stop by, hit the follow button, and keep up with what the two Dum Yinzers are up to on a day-to-day basis. And finally, if you haven't yet, hit the like, subscribe, and share button down below. It helps us out greatly, and we appreciate it very much so. So thank you on that. Mike, we're sliding in the home. Anything else? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Boys, this was fun. A lot of new names to face today. Hope you all stick around. It was fun. This is what we do here. I had a blast today. Thank you, everyone, man. Let's go Steelers. Yes, I did predict we're going to lose, but I hope we got there and whoop some ass. So here we go, Steelers. Boys,
All right.
win one for Ambassador Rooney.
All right, I do want to say I don't want to leave Corey hanging. He says debating on creating my YouTube channel and using AI cartoons as a video so I don't have to be on screen. Hey, whatever you do, man, just let us know. We'll certainly help you out. Again, Corey, go check him out on Spotify. I do think that's it, guys. We'll be back first thing Monday to talk about everything that happens on Sunday in the wee hours of the morning. I hope to see everybody then. Guys, we'll be hitting it and getting ready to head into the bye week. So hopefully we can get a win to head into the bye week, get healthy, come back for some Ohio games. Again, thank you so much. Go Steelers. Big win this weekend, guys. 3-1. We'll certainly feel a lot better than 2-2. And I hope everybody has a safe weekend. Get the terrible towels, get your jerseys, get your Permani sandwich ready. Big game. Minnesota Vikings, Pittsburgh Steelers, 9:30 a.m. Both 2-1 Sunday morning in Ireland, guys. We will see everybody Monday. Just about a little over 24 hours after that, guys. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Stay safe. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.